Welcome back, guys. So in our previous video we have talked about what is streaming replication, how it is, what's the working of it. What, so we are talking about today what in this video what is WAL sender process. I told you already that WAL files are getting created over the master server, and WAL sender process sends these WAL files to the standby server, and WAL receiver process at the standby server receives these WAL files from WAL sender. Okay, so how this works in PostgreSQL streaming replication, two key configuration parameters determine the initiation of WAL sender process on the master and the WAL receiver process on the standby servers. There are two configurations on the uh, master and slave, which uh, initiates the WAL sender and WAL receiver processes. So on the primary server, what are those? One is WAL level. Okay, so we when we are doing the lab, I'll show you how to uh, make these configurations. Right now we are just talking about the theory part. So the WAL level parameter in the PostgreSQL.conf file on the primary server determines whether WAL archiving is enabled and the level of information that is recorded in the write ahead log, which are WAL. Okay, to enable streaming replication, you typically set WAL level to at least a replica. Okay, or logical for logical replication, but we are doing physical replication, so replica is fine, which includes the necessary information for replication. We'll be discussing the different level of WAL in our next videos. Okay, so right now just giving a brief about what is WAL level. Okay, so the WAL level setting should be replica on the master for our streaming replication. Max WAL senders, the next parameter is, okay, this parameter specifies the maximum number of concurrent WAL sender processes that are that the primary server should allow. Like it can be 1 2 3 10, okay, or 15, whatever. You need to set this value to a number greater than or equal to the number of standby servers you plan to connect for replication. Okay, so if you are choosing if you have two standby servers on your configuration, you can use 2. You have 3 standby servers, you can use this value 3. For 1, there should be 1. Okay, if you set this value to 0, there will be no WAL center process. Okay, the WAL center process will not work. WAL, okay, WAL keeps segments. This parameter determines the minimum number of WAL segments to retain on the primary server even after they have been sent to the standby server. Okay, so on the master server, when there are changes to the database or updates, WAL files get created and in the WAL segments, and once these WAL segments gets copied to the standby server, they're of no use at master, but still for recovery process purpose or some other thing, for just for the security of the data, you can keep those WAL segments. And WAL keep segments is the parameter which decide how much WAL segments to keep before delete. It ensures that standby server can catch up if they temporarily lose connectivity. Okay, so if there is a connection issue between master and standby, and um, you have 10 15 WAL segments and master server, and which are not gets copied to the standby server, it will keep all those. Even if they are copied, it will keep 2 3 10 whatever mentioned in the WAL keep segments. Okay, this is WAL sender process. What is WAL receiver process? So this is on the standby server. On the standby server or the replication server, there are few parameters which enables WAL receiver process. So one is primary connect info. In recovery.conf or standby.signal file on the standby server, you can specify connection information for connecting to the primary server for replication. This includes the primary server's IP address, port, username, password, and replication slot name. This is recovery.conf, which are all recovery.conf, standby.signal. All these parameters are in the PostgreSQL.conf file. Okay, so the primary connect info parameter tells the standby server where to connect and receive the WAL records from the my primary server. Okay, so it will the primary connect info will have the host address, primary server port, use what's the user, what's the password. We'll set this up when we uh, create the replication or standby server. We'll do this in the command and then it these files will set up. Primary slot name, your replication slot, the slot name. We'll do all this configuration when we are creating the replication. So you will not see these in anywhere but with the scripts. Another one important parameter is replication slot. We'll be discussing this parameter later in detail. Okay, so what is replication slot? While not on a configuration parameter, this is not a configuration parameter, but you can we may need to decide or we may need to name it while we are doing the configuration. You also need to create a replication slot on the primary server using the pg create physical replication slot. Okay, this function allows the standby server to connect and receive the WAL records. Okay, the primary slot name in the standby server configuration should match the name on the replication slot created on the master server. Like you have created a replication slot on master, and on the standby server application server you should name the same replication slot so that it will connect to that replication slot. So these are WAL sender and receiver process. In the next videos will be talking about the parameters for setting up the streaming replications. Okay, these are about the WAL sender and WAL receiver process, these processes and how they are initiated, how they are activated. Okay, so thanks and I'll be seeing you in the next video.